feature, and I've already showed you this in other footage of this basement, but I'm going to show it to you again because we're talking about closets. Now this closet over here is an unfinished closet. I call it a utility closet, and I put a door here, and inside there it's an unfinished area. But from the outside, it'll appear as though we have a 20-inch 6-panel door, just like all the other doors in the basement, and we've cleverly hidden the sump pump in a closet in the stereo wall. And when you open the door, it will still be unfinished inside. It's called an unfinished utility closet, and we do it a lot in the basement. The basement's full of sump pumps and all kinds of things that we have to go around, and more times than not, we're incorporating those items that need to be serviced later into an unfinished utility closet. While we're on the subject of utility closets, here's another example over here. The obstacles in the way were the water meter, you can see right there, and we had the main sewage lateral coming down into this corner, which stuck out, and down here in the bottom, move this wood here, you can see there's a clean out down there, a cap that comes off in case the sewage ever backs up. A plumber can get in there and snake that out. But it stuck out past the plane of the wall, so we decided to hide all these items, the water meter and the sewage lateral and the clean out plug, and there's a shut off over here that we needed to get to. We decided to hide all this stuff in a nifty little utility closet that we framed out right here in the corner. Another thing that's part of just about every basement that you do is going to be the furnace. And a lot of times it's just in a place where you have to build around it. It's generally in the middle of the job, somewhere out in the middle of the basement, and we have to work around it. Now, what I normally do is I build a large door, 36 inches minimum, on upwards to 5-6 foot wide. This one actually has a 36-inch door. And when you open the door, there is your furnace, totally accessible to a mechanic. You can go in there and change the filter, do whatever you have to do to work on the furnace, and if you even had to replace the furnace, there's enough room, enough access when you open that door to take the furnace out and replace the furnace. So when we're faced with the furnace being in the way and we have to work around it, we build it into an unfinished closet space, and we put a large access door right in front of the furnace, allowing us to get in there, change filters, clean it, service it, replace it, whatever we have to do. But that's how we go around furnaces here at my basement remodeling company 99 times out of 100. If it's in the way, it's being incorporated into some type of utility closet. So again, a closet and a door and an unfinished utility area is the way we go around the home's furnace, the home's central air conditioning system. It's always, more times than not, put in a closet. And here's another design factor I thought I ought to show you here. You know, in the basement there's always going to be shutoffs, things that control water flow, gas flow, shutoffs to turn off different fixtures and utilities in the house. And over here in this particular wall, we have an outside spigot shutoff that has to stay there. It controls the hose bib in the backyard of the house. We have to be able to access that. We also have a trap here, a plumber's trap right here, which is the overflow, the flushing part of the water softener in this house that comes up, actually comes down through that black tube right there, all the way across the ceiling and down into the water softener, which is right over there. And that tube had to go into the water waste system somehow in this home. So it comes over, it comes down, and it has to be trapped because it's going into the sewage system of the home. It has to be trapped so no sewage gas gets back out. And that trap needs to be serviceable as well in case it ever gets clogged. So what we've done is we've framed out a 16 by 16 square in the wall. The drywallers will cut around that, and we will install a plumber's access door there. It's a very little thin piece of plastic. It's a flat panel, access panel made out of PVC. That gets glued into that opening, and it has little hinges on it, and we'll be able to open that plumber access door later and access all of those items in there. The water shut off to the outside hose bib and the trap from the water softener. So You have to always be thinking about access down the road. You can't just cover this stuff up. You have to create access to it, and the best way to do it, I have found, is with plumber access panels, which you can buy at any superstore. Okay, let's talk about the electric that we've roughed in here so far. We have used our electrician that's part of our company. He's registered to work in the townships here, and you really don't need a master electrician license here in our township. In your area you may, but we have done our own electric, and we have a complete video on electric showing you how we wire switches and how we wire outlets and how we wire thermostats and all that stuff in another video. But I want to show you what we've roughed in here. And as you can see, we've got some outlet boxes, and we've got a bunch of switch boxes. Over in our bar area over there, we've wired an outlet above our bar in our 7-foot bar area. Swing it up to the ceiling here, you'll see all these wires hanging down here. And since we're going to have a drop ceiling, we've left about 24 inches of wire curled up on the ceiling. Because after we put our drop ceiling up, our grid work and everything, we're going to be putting recessed lights in the ceiling, and we're going to need to connect these wires. And there's 6 lights going in here. We've got 2 over there, and we've got 2 more here, and we've got 1 right here. And up here we've already got 1 in because this is drywall. We had to put this in ahead of time. We have a recessed light above our bar. So there's 6 lights over here. And in this room over here there's 1, 2, 3, 4 wires hanging down in the drop ceiling over here. So we have 4. And those wires all come over here into this box right here, by the way, into the switch box. And we've got our outlets to code in here running around the perimeter of the room, all wired in there nice, stapled, professionally installed. We've also got a black wire running down here, which is cable TV. We pre-wire for cable TV, we pre-wire for phone, we even pre-wire for speakers. And the reason we pre-wire is because you never know what you're going to need down the road. So even if you're not going to have speakers right away, or use a phone right away, or have a TV right away, you always want to figure where you might want it and run some cable, and all you have to do later then is just make the connections. Got some more outlets over here, and even in our half wall we've got a bunch of outlets. Probably going to put furniture, a couch maybe against that wall, so we've wired for table lamps or whatever they want to plug in near the half wall. And you can pan the camera around here, you can see all the outlets, all the blue boxes and the wire running down through that wall. And at the base of the stairs we have a 3-gang box, which is going to have 3 switches, which is going to control 3 different zones of lighting here. You can see the wires go right through the 2x4s. There's another light we've installed. That's going to be a drywall ceiling here. Any place you have drywall, you have to get the light in right away, because the drywallers are going to cut around that light. There's another one right over there, the same thing. Drywall ceilings have to have the recessed light cans, the canisters, installed before drywall goes in, and they have to be pre-wired. And we make them hot, which means we run electric to them before we drywall to make sure that they're working before we cover them up. And in the bathroom, same thing. Drywall ceiling in here. We've got our fan light combination on the ceiling, which you can see the light hanging out of it there now. We have that in, and we have it hot. We've got electric running to it, and we wanted to make sure that the fan and the light worked before we covered it up, so that we didn't have any nightmares down the road and have to go back and tear our drywall ceiling out to fix something. So our electric on this job is fully roughed in and ready for drywall. This job is 100% ready for drywall right now. We're just waiting on our permit from the township here, waiting for the township to come in and inspect and give us the green light to go ahead and insulate our walls next, and then start our drywall project. Okay, we're back here at the Blazy residence here in Turnberry in Harrisburg, PA. We're going to take a look at that escape well window from the outside that we just had installed here today. And every basement has to have one egress exit And if it's a bedroom down there, there would have to be two, because the bedroom would need its own as well. Alright, and there's what we put in. We dug her out. We put that escape well around it to hold the earth back. It serves as a retaining wall there. And inside the well we've got our code approved window installed, which is 48 by 48. And in the bottom of that well is all of our crushed stone, which goes all the way down to the footer. And on the outside of the footer around this home there is a drain system that will take the rainwater away as it sifts down through that stone, keeping the basement dry around this opening. Makes a nice way to get building materials in and out of the window as well for all the other trades. Actually, the drywall that is being installed in there right now was slid through that window. We took the two sliding windows out and we ran the drywall right through the window. So there's our code approved escape well, our egress entrance and exit into that basement. So let's take a walk down into the basement and see how our drywallers are making out down there. You're not shy, are you?
Now you look like a super hanger. You got forearms.
Some great action footage here. What's that? Out here in the garage, we're going to take a look at the electrical panel out here for this job here. I want to show you this because the box, the load center, as it's called, to the home, where all the breakers are, is totally full right now. So I'm having one of our mechanics run a sub panel into the basement, which is basically another one of these load centers put in the basement, in the storage room, so that we have plenty of breakers for all of our new circuits in the basement. And we're going to have about 8 or 9 new circuits, and this box is totally full. Now we've just put in this 100 amp breaker right down here in the bottom of the box. You can see it right there. And when he throws that breaker, it's going to send electric down to the sub panel, which is a 100 amp sub panel down in the basement, where there'll be a series of new breakers just for the basement project, just for the basement lights, the basement outlets, and the basement heat. We have some electric heat down there, and that box in the basement will be just for our basement project. Now we don't always have to do this. Sometimes there's enough room in these boxes that are existing in the home, but on this particular job we're putting in a 100 amp sub panel so that we have adequate electric space for this project. Something else that I've been meaning to show you, my brother, who does the electric for the business, he was back here, and he's got the sub panel that we talked about earlier in the job all done down here. You can see up above there, he's got all the new wires coming into the box for all the new outlets, all the new lighting circuits, the heat circuits, everything that's going to be used in just the basement coming into the top of the sub panel box. And that big gray wire in the middle there is the 100 amp service that he brought down from the load center in the garage that we showed you earlier. We talked about the fact that that box was too filled up, and we did not have enough availability in there to put all of our electrical runs into the one that's existing with the home. So we put this sub panel in so that the basement would have its very own electrical service. And you can see we shot a piece of 3/4 inch plywood on the wall, glued and shot that on there, and we've mounted our 100 amp service to that plywood. And inside here, my brother's got all the new breakers already in the box, ready to go for all the new outlets and lighting circuits that we have down here. So this was an added expense, but it was needed because we did not have enough available space outside in the existing load center in the garage. The original load center that was put in when the home was built was filled, and there was no available space, so we had to put in the 100 amp sub panel in the basement. And we always, 9 times out of 10 anyway, put it in storage. So we're back in the storage area, and that's all done, and I just wanted to show you that. So if your project's needing more available breaker spaces for all of your additional runs for your outlets and lighting, you'll have to put in a sub panel. And this is something that I can show you how to do, can teach you how to do, but for me, you know, I've got an electrician that works for my company. If you're not an electrician, this might be an area where you might want to sub this out to a professional electrician, somebody that can just come in and do the job right and do it safely, and is registered to work in your area. You'll have to have a registered electrician if you're pulling building permits to do your electric work, and then normally most states require that the electric be inspected by a codes electrical inspector that can come in and make sure things have been done properly. So that's it. Our 100 amp load center has been installed, all of our breakers are in, and we've got all new electric coming out of our brand new 100 amp sub panel for our basement project. Today we're going to look around here. We had our drywallers in here the last couple days, and I'm going to spin the camera around here and talk about some of the phases of the drywall that's going on right now, and show you the progress of this job over here in Turnberry. Well, I guess the first thing we're going to notice here is a giant pile of drywall scraps in the middle of the floor. This will be taken out here today. This is all the stuff that was left over after doing all the cutting around all the different aspects of the basement here. All the drywall scraps, we'll load them up and we'll take those away and dispose of them today. Take a look up here at one of these soffit edges here, all along the edge here. They've put the corner bead on there, and the corner bead is the hard piece of metal that gets nailed right over the drywall once they put the drywall on, and then the drywall compound gets smoothed right over top of this this corner bead that goes along the edge here. I'll actually show you a piece of that right here. This is a piece of corner bead right here. It's normally it's 1 inch by 1 inch. It's already bent on a 90-degree angle, and this gets applied right over the edge of the drywall. Put right on here like this, right over the edge, and it gets nailed on down each side, and then the drywall compound goes right over top of that. And that's how you form the nice 90-degree corners for drywall jobs. Corner bead. And anywhere there's a corner, like down the edges of those soffits over there, and this soffit behind me here, and this soffit overhead, that's all done with that metal corner bead. So all the corner bead has been applied yesterday and first coated, as they call it. That's the first coat of compound that they put on over top of the corner bead. It was first coated yesterday. Now all the places where the drywall seamed to other drywall, where one piece of drywall meets another drywall, they taped those joints with drywall tape. This is one right here. This is where one piece of board met another piece of board over here, and there's a piece of drywall tape in the middle that gets put on and then covered with the joint compound. You actually apply some joint compound first, put the piece of tape on, press it into the compound, and then skim another little coat over top. So all the joints were taped yesterday along with the first coating of the corner bead. Take a look back here. We can see some good examples of the joint taping between pieces of board. There you can see 1, 2, 3 pieces of drywall there, and you can see the joint tape in between those pieces of board right there. And that runs all the way up, and then that piece of joint tape is continuous all the way down to the floor. So we've got all the board joint taped, and those boards are 4x8, and they were stood up and up down. They weren't laid down on the floor. They were put in vertically. It really just depends on the drywaller how he wants to install the board, but all this board in this job was installed vertically. And you can see that they have cut around all the outlet boxes down there and cable boxes. They actually use like a little roto router, little zip router that zips around there and cuts those little boxes out. And if we go down the wall a little further here, we can see that they've cut out around the return air grates. There's a low one and a high one. They were cut out as well. Now the ceiling in this job is going to be drop ceiling, so the drywall stops right up there above the drop ceiling height the whole way around this room, and then everything in between up there to cover the pipes and the sewage laterals and everything that's up there, that's all going to be hidden away in our drop ceiling. That return air grate right there, or that feed rather, that's a air conditioning heating feed grate, that'll be dropped into the drop ceiling as well. And all these wires that are sticking down here, there's 4 sets, those are going to be recessed lights that are going to be installed inside of our drop ceiling. You can see that our half wall that's going to have a countertop installed on top has been drywalled, and the top of the wall has been left unfinished because that's going to be covered with the actual Formica top that we're ordering, which is going to go the whole way down to the wall down there. It's going to wrap around that column, which was one of our support poles in the basement, which is incorporated into this half wall, and the top will go all the way down to the end. Around behind me here, we've got that 7-foot space behind me there. That's going to have 7 foot of cabinetry and a little refrigerator down below, and a countertop installed. And then we have our home entertainment wall here, which we have a stereo rack that's going in there. It could double as a bookcase. A big screen TV cavity that we installed right there, which is going to house the TV. Below the TV, we're going to have a built-in birch stereo rack, which is going to house all of the homeowner's stereo equipment, the receiver and the DVD player and the CD player, everything that he's going to have connected to the system. And then we've got our closet door over there going into our utility area that has a sump pump in it, which will be left unfinished. Our fireplace, well, it's been cut into the wall too by the drywallers. They cut around it, and that's going to have some 8x8 tile around the outside of that, and a little bit of tile on the floor in front of it when we're finished. We have another utility door that was drywalled around here, and that houses our HVAC unit, our heating and air conditioning units right inside there. It'll have a 3-foot bifold door on it, and when you open it up, that's what you'll see. It'll be unfinished inside. Now under the stairs, I told you we were going to make a closet under there. I'll show you what we did there. We just drywalled to the bottom of the stairs coming down. You can see we have a piece of flex duct that's going to actually stay there. We had to bring it through the closet and out the other side here. Right there, you can see it's running right through the wall, and that's going to blow some air out into this side of the basement over here. So it's one of those necessary evils. It had to be there. So we're just going to leave it inside the closet under the stairs, and we finished the whole way back in there to the back, and that'll make some nice storage underneath the stairs. Our steps are framed out and drywalled on the angle coming down the steps, and that's going to have 2 newel posts and a couple spindles. That's going to be finished out with a double banister system. And then we added a little built-in at the bottom of the stairs here. There was some dead space, some hollowed space behind the shower in the bathroom, and the homeowner asked us if we could put a bookcase in there. And we're going to have one of our birch bookcases, like a little shadow box at the bottom of the stairs here, which will be a nice effect. Now in the bathroom, you'll notice we have some purple colored board in here. That is moisture resistant board, MR board as it's known in the business, and that's all around the shower enclosure because, you know, we're expecting some moist air in here when we're running a hot shower and we got the steam coming up. Our 4-foot shower now is drywalled into the wall. And it looks like it's always been in there. It's first taped in all the way around the perimeter. We taped it, and they've got their piece of corner bead out here on the end. We have an outside corner here, and that piece of corner bead goes from the ceiling all the way down to the floor, and that's first coated as well. And if you'll notice in the bathroom, we have a drywall ceiling in here. We felt it was too cut up in here to put a drop ceiling in, so we decided to go ahead and drywall it. And we've got our light fan combination, which will be up in the ceiling right there. And over there we've got a little 6x6 feed, air conditioning heating feed coming in here to get some air conditioning and heating into this bathroom. Over here we framed in a little tiny linen closet. It's all drywalled in there nice. Our toilet will go there, and our 4-foot vanity is going to go right in this little area right here when you walk inside the door to the right here. And there's our concrete trench that we made with our jackhammer, which we told you before was to get the drain from the shower to run all the way down and catch the drain under the floor from the toilet, and then take it out through the wall into the sewage ejection system on the other side of the wall into the sewage ejector. So that's our job so far. Coming along nicely. We're in it's like 3.5 weeks now down here, and we're projecting the job's going to take about another 2.5 weeks. We have doors and trims ordered coming Monday, and the painter's going to be here next week, and we'll be showing you how this job progresses right through to the end. I'm Eddie Case, and I'll be talking to you soon.